Hello, everybody, and welcome to DaRil. It's your boy, Damon DaMonNailer. We thank you for tuning in, and we have a great lesson for you today. We're going to continue on with the love triangle, and what we're going to look at today is loving yourself, taking care of you. And what we want to do is look at the scriptures that we looked at in the initial lesson, which was the first part of the triangle of loving God. And those scriptures are in Mark chapter 12, verses 28 through 31. And one of the scribes came, and having heard them reasoning together and perceiving that he had answered them well, asked him, which is the first commandment of all? And Jesus answered him, the first of all the commandments is, Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord. Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, with all thy mind, and with all thy strength. This is the first commandment. And the second is likely, namely this, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. There's none other commandment greater than these. And then Matthew 22 and 40, it says, on these two commandments hang all the law and the prophets. So if we love God, love our neighbors as ourselves, then everything else will take care of itself. So now we want to look at the second part of the triangle, which I said is loving ourselves. Ephesians 5:28 and 29, it says, so ought men to love their wives as their own bodies. He that loveth his wife loveth himself. So it kind of continues in that vein. In this context, it's talking about a wife, but it's not just the wife. It's a principle that if you love somebody else, then, it's because you love your own self. So if you love somebody else, then you also automatically love yourself. So he that loves his wife or he that loves anybody else, by default, you love yourself. For no man ever had yet hated his own flesh. Now, some people do, hate themselves, and because of that, they hate others. But for the most part, those of us who are loving and caring, we first love our own flesh and our own bodies. We take care of ourselves. And it says, but nourish it and cherish it. He nourishes and cherishes his own body, even as the Lord the church. What we want to do is extract those two words, nourish it and cherish it, or nourish and cherish. Nourish means to feed, encourage, and nurture. So we want to feed not just our bodies good and healthy, nutritious things, but we want to feed our minds, or the mental side of us, the emotional and spiritual side of us, healthy things. We want to encourage ourselves. We want to look in the mirror and just encourage ourselves in the Lord. Say, hey, you're awesome, you're blessed, you're wonderful, you're fulfilling purpose, you're great, you're healed, you're saved, you're delivered. Encourage yourself in the Lord. You have to do it. All the time, people are not going to pat you on the back. They're not going to give you your just due. So guess what? You have to do it to yourself. And then the last thing, nourish it, means to nurture. You need to nurture, which means to take care of, provide for, just be responsible for the maintenance of yourself. Okay. And then the next one, the other word we said is cherish. That means to value, appreciate, treasure, and respect yourself. So value yourself, appreciate yourself, treasure and respect yourself. I always say, don't let others determine your value, because they will always shortchange you. You have to know how valuable you are. And when you do that, you're going to exude that and exemplify that when you interact with others. But value yourself, appreciate yourself, treasure and respect yourself. Now, the reason why self-love is critical is because, first of all, it's the prerequisite for loving others. In other words, it's the requirement. Before you can love anybody else, you have to love yourself. That's what prerequisite means. It's required. It's a necessity. It's something that you have to do. It's not optional. And that's what the scripture teaches us. For years, I always thought when it said love your neighbor as yourself, it was, your neighbor came first, although that's the position as or equally, which means that you come first. It's God first, you, then your neighbor or others. And we're going to get into neighbor next time. Also, self-love is critical and vital because it's the qualifier for loving others. When you love yourself, you are then qualified to love others. If I don't love and respect myself and value myself, I'm not qualified to love, respect, and value others. So I have to make sure that I love myself, so then I'm qualified to love, respect, value, and appreciate and cherish and encourage my neighbor. So, what we want to do with the rest of this session, I want to give you 7 ways that you can provide self care to yourself. And this is right on time, being that this month is mental health awareness and we're dealing with self care. As a matter of fact, I have a webinar coming up on May 20th that's going to be dealing with self care. We're going to get into a lot of this, and I'll have a co facilitator, Miss Elizabeth Orange, and we're going to address some of these things. But in this session, I want to give you 7 important ways that you can love on yourself, care for yourself. And this information, most of it comes from my book, Living, Loving, Leading. So the first thing is to pray, meditate, speak affirmations over yourself. Praying, being in the presence of the Father is vital to self-care. I don't know about you, but for me, getting in the presence of the Lord, dwelling in the secret place of the Most High, that's where the treasures are, the joy, the revelations, the encouragement, the strength, everything you need is in the presence. And for me, that is like the most critical part of my self-care, just getting in the presence of God, praying, then meditating, which is when you're speaking inwardly, meditating on scriptures. The Bible said do it day and night. I always say when you wake up in the morning, meditate. Before you retire at night, meditate. You meditate in the morning, so the word is with you during the day. You meditate at night. When you're asleep, it's in your subconscious, still feeding, still rotating, still going. And then speak affirmations. As I was speaking earlier, those encouraging words, speak over yourself. Put those words out into the atmosphere, because words are transformative. They're seeds and they germinate and they produce fruit. So whatever harvest you want, put that out there, but speak those positive things over yourself and over others also. But in this session, we're focusing on self. The next thing is just scheduling me time. Many of us, we are in dire need of some me time, just so we can, be to ourselves and just enjoy ourselves. Many of us are in excessive need of it. This is essential to our sanity. It enables us to decompress, be alone with our thoughts, and just be at peace. Taking a few moments per day to do this can yield great results. One thing it does is gives us time to relax. We are oftentimes so wound up that we need a little time to exhale. Another benefit is that it gives the opportunity to have an aha moment or a moment of clarity where the light bulb goes off and we receive some great insight. Living in this fast-paced rat race stops us from doing this often enough, which means our minds are on overdrive, racing all day and all night. So we want to take a break, isolate, and allow our minds to calm down. This causes us to become clear, open, and attuned with ourselves. So if you hadn't done so, schedule you some me time, and you want to make it consistent. Put it on your calendar, some me time. Another suggestion, take a vacation. My wife and I, we love to get away, go other places, even if it's not far. If you just go 30 minutes away, an hour away, an hour and a half, or if you can go further if you have the time, get away. When you go on a vacation, you're able to get away from your mundane, day-to-day routine, the hustle and bustle, work, and even just some of your circles and the people you hang around. It's always good to get out and experience some new things, experience some new elements, experience some new restaurants, experience some new locations. And this will help you to reset and recharge, basically decompress, and then be ready and energized when you come back to your normal settings and your normal day-to-day hustle and routine. But it's good to just get away, and take you a vacation. We need it. Yeah. The next thing is to find what I call your stress reliever. And I kind of alluded to mine, which is, is a part of what I talked about earlier as far as prayer. But, how do you release your stress? You want to know that. First, for me, I pray and I meditate. I visit the gym regularly to let off steam and clear my mind. Some people like to read, while others enjoy watching TV, fishing, playing sports, listening to music, taking baths, eating, spending time with friends, etc. Find what works for you. You need to be able to know what it is that makes you happy and release stress. Whenever you're stressed out, what are some positive and nurturing things you do to get rid of that stress and release it? Next suggestion, engage in your favorite hobby or pastime. All of us need to have some type of hobby or a pastime, something that, you know, you can do whenever you feel like it. Not something that has to be actually it can be a business for some people. You could translate your hobby or pastime into a business, and it's wonderful if your job is your business or your job uses your strongest talents. Then most of the time you're fulfilled, and you know it really helps you. But I think all of us need some type of hobby or pastime, something that you just do to relax, to unwind, something that is just fun and you're passionate about. You don't have to be serious and just so focused on it, but just something that is a hobby or something that is a pastime for you. And oftentimes people say, well, I don't have time for it. That's a problem because you need to make time for it. We want to live a balanced life. If we're working too much, we're workaholic, and that's not saving time or energy for anything else. Of course, we want to provide. Of course, we have to pay the bills. We have to take care of ourselves and our families. But at the same time, we have to take care of ourselves mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically. And these things are going to help in those areas. The next is pamper yourself. I said that and you heard me correctly. Pamper yourself. You deserve it. Make it a habit of treating yourself to some guilty pleasures, whatever you desire, indulge in it as often as possible. Always remember, no one will celebrate you like you. Pat yourself on the back, throw your own parties, and enjoy you to the fullest. You need to be able to celebrate yourself. If you like going to the spa, if you like going shopping, you like going out to eat, whatever it is that just is self-care and soothing and pleasurable to you and positive, you want to do those things. And as I'm stating, you want to do them regularly. This gives us balance. If we're always just, you know, sacrificing and work, and then every now and then we reward ourselves, it's tough and it's challenging. But if you work, you reward, you know, it should be a system of consistency of working, enjoying, resting, you know, exercise, whatever it is, but consistency, having a routine of doing it, and that gives you a balanced life. But you deserve to be pampered, and you deserve to be pampered by you. Nobody's going to celebrate you like you. I promise you. I'm not that old, but I am old enough to know that. And if you are not celebrating you and pampering yourself, then it's hard to expect others to do it, you know, for you. And then the last thing is getting adequate rest. Believe it or not, some of us are sleep deprived. We don't get enough rest. And some of our problems stem from this. Low concentration, irritability, impulsiveness, tiredness are just a few things that stem from lack of sleep. Additionally, inadequate sleep contributes to many health problems such as hypertension, diabetes, and it affects the overall function of our immune system. We want to make sure we consistently get the right amount of sleep that will enable us to feel invigorated and alert when we wake up. Now, there are all kinds of suggestions for sleep. I think the normal recommended amount, especially for adults, is like 8 to 10 hours. But I know some people who can only sleep 7 or 6. Some people can only sleep 5. Whatever works for you. Whereas when you wake up, you feel refreshed, reinvigorated, energized, and you're not tired and you're not dragging. Whatever that amount is, know what it is. You know, read your body, pay attention to your body, and be able to get that adequate rest because it helps to reduce the blood pressure, the blood sugar. It helps with your concentration. It helps with so much. And I think sometimes people just go so much they don't make the connection and realize how that sleep deprivation is ultimately and adversely affecting their lives. So we want to make sure we get that adequate rest. So hey, when we get up, we can be good to go and we can do what we need to do. Well, this is the end of DamonNailer. We thank you for tuning in. And this was the second part of the love triangle, loving self. Next time we'll talk about loving others, loving our neighbors. We definitely want to invite you to check out the webinar on May 20th. We have the information in the show notes to sign up. Hey, if you feel like sowing a seed, we have our Cash App down there, but be prepared to tune in. We'll be coming with more sessions in the coming weeks and months. So God bless you. Thanks again. Take care.